The topic I will be focusing on is queer women in politics. This topic is important for a number of reasons. As we become more of a progressing society, there will be more people openly identifying as a part of the LGBTQ+ community. Women already suffer a lot of bias as political candidates, so it is crucial to understand other aspects of their identity, such as their sexuality, that may have a great impact on their candidacy. I will be discussing 3 peer-reviewed articles that have research related to the topic of queer women in politics. The first article I will be discussing is titled Voter Preferences and the Political Underrepresentation of Minority Groups, Lesbian, Gay, and Transgendered Candidates in Advanced Democracies. This article discusses a survey experiment conducted in the United States, United Kingdom, and New Zealand to assess if voters penalize LGBT candidates. A few key takeaways from the article were that lesbian politicians in the U.S. are typically more liberal or democratic and hold progressive viewpoints. Marilyn Waring was outed in 1976 in New Zealand. She would have been considered the first open lesbian politician in the country, but was told to not comment by her party leader. Therefore, she came out years later. Voters have been shown to penalize LGBTQ candidates with the strongest negative impact in the United States. In the UK, lesbians face a higher penalty during election amongst voters compared to gay men. In the US and New Zealand, the penalty is about the same. The next article I will be discussing is titled Out and Elected: Political Careers of Openly Gay and Lesbian Politicians in Germany and Finland. A few key takeaways from this article was that the first out lesbian to gain a seat in Germany was in 1987. Germany has increased lesbian representation in politics because of many gay and lesbian and feminist movements in the 1970s and 1980s. Finland politicians remained closeted throughout the 1990s. When openly lesbian politicians receive media coverage, it is not consistent and often sexist and sexuality focused. The article also stated that it seems that it becomes a lot more difficult for lesbian politicians to generate positive media buzz than it is for gay men. The last article I will be discussing is an article we have read in class, and it is titled Changing the Game Changes the Fame: The Media's Use of Lesbian Stereotypes in Leadership versus Election Campaigns. This article discusses a study that uses content analysis and interviews to examine how the media reported the candidacy and campaign of Alison Brewer, the openly lesbian leader of the New Brunswick New Democratic Party. Brewer's sexuality was more focused on rather than the issue she was trying to address, and she was only asked questions about social issues related to being a woman and being a lesbian. She was constantly referred to by her sexuality in the media coverage. She also actively tried avoiding presenting herself in ways that would activate lesbian stereotypes, such as the way she dressed. Brewer only received 1/3 of coverage compared to other candidates, and majority of the coverage was focused on her sexuality or the political issues associated with it, such as abortion. This subject is related to what I've learned in class because it looks at the intersectionality of being a woman in combination with another underrepresented identity. For example, in class we discussed a lot of readings that spoke about being a woman and being a minority race such as Black or Latina and the challenges they face when running for office. Some of these readings are A Wise Latina or a Baffled Rookie, media coverage of Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Ascent to the Bench, and It's More Than Hair, That's Why You Should Care, the politics of appearance for Black women state legislators. Another connection I made was about how parts of our identity are irrelevant to the completion of a career. A lot of the time, sexuality of a candidate is brought up even though it should not have any effect on their candidacy. That is the same as how we discussed motherhood in class and how it is used to make assumptions about a woman and her ability to perform in her candidate position. In conclusion, it was interesting to learn about challenges queer women face in politics. I enjoy reading about queer women in politics in other countries and seeing how their experiences varies from queer women in politics in the United States. I would like to see more up-to-date research about this topic. Many articles were from the 1990s, with a few from the past few years. I think there should also be more research focused on queer women solely, rather than the entire LGBTQ+ community's experience in politics. The experience of queer women in politics differs from the experience of queer men in politics, therefore they should be separated and analyzed as well. These are my references. Thanks for watching.